You better grab your wallet. If you thought California's cost of living was sky high already, wait until you see the massive tax increases that California state and local politicians have placed on the November 2024 ballot. Coming up, we expose their tax raising schemes and explain how you can get involved in the fight to block the tax increases in 2024. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and there is no doubt that California's cost of living is absolutely sky high and unsustainable. California working families are being crushed by the constant inflation and increases in their cost of living across the board, by the way. But California politicians don't seem to care. They know things are bad, but they don't care because they want more of your money by hook or crook. And they're hell bent on getting it. The only people standing between you and a massive tax increase is the Reform California movement. And I'm going to explain in a moment how you can get involved in our campaign, our broad-based coalition of grassroots activists that are working across the state to defeat these tax hikes. But first, let's kind of set the stage for what is going on. What do you expect to see on your ballot? Where are the tax increases? And by the way, I have a warning for you. The tax increases are hidden because the politicians use deceptive ballot titles to hide their tax increasing schemes. But you know, and I know that we have a cost of living crisis in this state. The Transparency Foundation put out a report at the end of last year, and they're updating this report every year going forward. And it's called The Cost of California. It's an annual index of how much it costs to live in California compared to the average cost of living nationwide. And this is so important because you always hear the Democrat politicians in California, Newsom and their friends in the liberal media, lying to us by saying, oh, it's nothing but price gouging by evil corporate America. No. If it was just price gouging by big corporations, and I'm not saying that they're angels, they're always out there for your money. But if it was just price gouging, why is it only happening in California? You see, we need to remind Californians of the penalty tax, the penalty cost that is imposed upon them by, well, out-of-touch politicians who have bad, costly, liberal, extreme policies. Lots of taxes, lots of regulations, lots of mandates equals a higher cost of living for you. And we need to hold these folks accountable for the extra costs that they are putting onto our shoulders every single moment they pass a new bill or impose a new regulation. That's why this study is so important. It's not just, oh, what's inflation generically? Oh, what is the increased percentage of cost in California for one item or another? No. You got to go full boat. What is the cost for an average working class family, a middle class family, to live in California? And the study came out, and here's the shocking number, though most of us are probably not too shocked. For a middle-class family of four living in California, middle class, the Transparency Foundation study built an average budget of rent, food, gas, utilities, health insurance, the whole gamut, the entire line-by-line budget for a middle-class family. To live in California costs $26,478.72 more in 2023 compared to the average, national average in the country. Now, if you compare it to the lowest cost states, it would be even a bigger penalty that you're having to pay in California. I'm not calling for California to be the lowest cost state. I just want us to be screwed up as the average state in the country. How about that? How about we shoot for mediocrity? Because even if you did that, you'd be saving every Californian, a middle-class family, $26,478.72. And I'm sure those families could use that relief. This is a crisis point. The latest PPIC polling shows that Californians know it's a crisis point. This is the June survey done by Public Policy Institute of California. They tend to be a little left-leaning, but their polling is pretty directionally correct, shall we say. Here are the problems, the top problems in California. 36% of Californians say it's cost of living, economy, and inflation. But take a look at this next one, housing costs. Okay, so you've got what, 55% of Californians saying cost of living generically, whether it's housing or all of the above, is a major top issue, the top issue for them, because they're hurting. When you take a look at the voters, they do not believe that we've got the right track for our state. Going down here to the right track. Right track, wrong track. States going in the wrong direction. 62% of California voters. Remember, these are Democrat voters in most cases. 62% of California voters say the state's going in the wrong direction. 36% saying the right direction. And those of you who think it's in the right direction, you need your damn head examined. Do you expect better or worse financial times over the next year? 68% expect things to get worse financially, economically for them. Only 30% think things are going to get better. Boy, they must be the campaign contributors to the Democrats who get the kickbacks and the special interest set-asides. Look, the voters absolutely are communicating strongly that they think things are in the wrong direction and that it's mainly an affordability crisis in California. Not saying that crime and homelessness and the failing schools in California are not important. They are, and these are issues we need to be addressing in the races in November. But cost of living is the number one issue for us to focus on. Now, into this environment, you would think that politicians would read the room and would say, we can't be increasing the cost of living in California. In fact, we should be putting out proposals to reduce the cost of living. Well, that's not what they're doing. California Democrats are trying to raise your taxes. They've got an initiative on the ballot, Proposition 5, that would make it easier to raise property taxes, the ad valorem tax on your property, by making it easier to pass property tax-based bonds. And the bonds are for boondoggles, for their special interest friends that bankroll their campaigns. So there is a tax increase on the November ballot in the form of Prop 5. And it guts Prop 13 from 1978. That's why Reform California is leading a campaign to defeat Prop 5, because we don't want to make it easier for politicians to raise our taxes. But take a look at your local ballot. Reform California right now, my team at Reform California, we are tracking hundreds, not dozens, hundreds of tax increase proposals up and down the state of California. It is insane. Again, cost of living is the biggest crisis. What are the politicians doing at the state and local level? They're trying to raise our taxes. And they're going to hide these tax increases on your ballot by false and misleading ballot titles. And it's happening all around the state. Here's a story today in Voice of Orange County. Seal Beach voters to decide on sales tax to curb $6 million deficit. Hey, how about you politicians cut some of your fat cat wasteful spending? Don't put the burden on to working families. They're already struggling. So Seal Beach has a tax increase. City of San Diego is going nuts. Their all Democrat council wants a 1% tax increase, sales tax increase. By the way, the county of San Diego with the Sandag tax has a 0.5%. That means that taxes would go up by 1.5%. That's almost like a 25% increase in the sales tax across the board. That massive burden spiking. City of San Diego would have a 9.25% sales tax at that point. I'm old enough to remember when it was 3.75% in the 1990s. Now government wants to double, more than double, its rake of every purchase made in our economy. Then you got, tinier cities like Lemoore, California, in Central Valley. They've got a sales tax increase. Why is it needed? Asks yourcentralvalley.com. It's not needed. Here is the deceptive language that they put on the ballot. They don't say, should we raise sales taxes to cover our budget deficit? No, they gussy it up. They put the lipstick on the pig and, nice window dressing. to maintain a clean, safe community with services such as 911 emergency response, police patrols, fire services, street and crosswalk repair, park and recreation programs, and to retain and attract businesses, to save Mother Goose, to bring back Mother Teresa. You know what I mean? Shall the city of Lemoore adopt a measure establishing a 1% sales tax, providing approximately $3,850,000 annually? Of course, they always throw in, subject to an annual audit and citizens oversight committee. Oh, BS. It's whatever the politicians want to spend the money on. And by the way, nothing in that sales tax that Lemoore city of Lemoore is looking at, nothing earmarks it for any of those specific programs. In fact, it's a pension tax. It's a cost of salaries and benefits for government bureaucrats tax. That's what this is. But all of these sales tax measures do that trick. The deceptive dangling of carrots. Here are all the goodies that we're going to give you. And they'll threaten. They'll take hostages. They'll try to extort voters by saying, if you don't approve the tax increase, we'll have to lay off cops and firefighters and people will die in the streets. Oh, just stop. Absolutely stop. This is what we come back to. Cost of living penalty for Californians. That's unsustainable. And let me just be clear. I have ragged on the Democrat politicians in California for their culpability and responsibility in these tax hikes. But the sad, sickening truth is a lot of Republican local elected officials vote to put tax increases on the ballot. I've been in arguments with a number of them across the state. And they get upset when I say, not only are we going to oppose your tax increase, but we're going to recruit a candidate to take you out of office. But Carl, if you do that, you're going to get a Democrat in this seat. You're going to split the vote. I already got a Democrat, honey, because you're raising taxes. That's what liberal Democrats do. You're absolutely useless as a Republican because you can't even vote against a tax increase. So at Reform California, we are leading the campaigns at the state and local level to block these tax increases. And our best weapon in this campaign is what we call the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide. Here's our Plain English Voter Guide right here. We have voter guides in every region of the state. And when you click on one of these voter guides, you'll have all the statewide ballot measures, including the no on Prop 5 that we're recommending, as well as your local tax increases will all be listed there. This is the only voter guide in the state of California that gives you complete transparency and coverage on what tax increases are on the ballot in November. And so we're going to need your help in a few ways. First, sign up to get the voter guide because we're not finished putting together the voter guide. That doesn't happen until September 1st because we have to wait through August to see what tax increases made it on the ballot, which didn't. But sign up at the bottom of the website, reformcalifornia.org, reformcalifornia.org, first name, last name, email, phone, and zip code. And you will get an email the first week of October with our voter guide so that it arrives in time for you to get your ballot filled out. Second, we need you to contribute. We need your help to stop the tax increases here in the state of California. If you go onto our website, reformcalifornia.org, and click under Stop the Tax Hikes, or just simply go to stopcaliforniataxhikes.com, you can make a contribution that will go into our campaign fund that is dedicated to stopping tax hikes up and down the state of California. We need gas in the tank. We cannot fight these battles alone. It costs a lot of money to print and distribute the voter guide. We do a lot of mailers, a lot of texts, a lot of digital ads. We're going to need your help to get those plain English voter guides out to target voters to defeat these tax increases. And we have a pretty darn good track record of defeating costly and unfair tax hikes at Reform California, but we can't do it without your help. Now, we wanted to go on the offense this year with the California Taxpayer Protection Initiative. It qualified for the November ballot, but you may have heard the corrupt liberal justices of the California Supreme Court, all 7 of these justices are diehard left-wing liberals. They colluded with Governor Gavin Newsom and the Democrats to disenfranchise California voters and strip them of their initiative rights and take the Taxpayer Protection Initiative off the November 2024 ballot. We are not giving up that fight. We're going to get that back on the ballot in 2024. More news on that later. But we need your help in this movement to provide cost of living relief to Californians who are suffering, who are struggling, who cannot afford another costly and unfair tax hike, whether it's at the state level or the local level. So go to the website, reformcalifornia.org, and join in the fight. Plus, comment on this video, like this video, so we can help distribute it to more people. We need to grow our movement. The liberal media and the tech giants are always trying to censor us. Subscribe to this video channel so you get updates every day at 5 o'clock. We post a new video. This podcast goes out every day, Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock, to give you an unbiased center-right take on California news and politics. Join the fight. Take back our state. Stop the tax increases at reformcalifornia.org. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.